Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaja's daily class. Today, Srimad Bhagavatam class is, we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 19, verse number 25. And today's class is by Her Grace Radha Vinodini Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much for your time and association, Mataji. You can please
Thank you
take
so
over.
much for
Hare Krishna.
engaging me. Sorry, shall I do the screen sharing? This time
Yes,
I didn't
Mataji.
prepare with
I'm ready. Yeah.
anything. So, okay,
I'm ready to host. You can share.
Okay, I will just search for the verse. Yeah, it's very rare of me not to sharing lots and lots of verses. So, oh, okay, I have it. Okay. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Our grace to Srila Prabhupada. We will continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, and so let's start it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatra bhavat Bhagavan Vyasaputro Yadrichayagam Atamanunapeksha Alakshyalingo Nijalabhatusto Vritascha Balair Avaduta Veshaha. Srila Prabhupada's translation. At that moment, there appeared the powerful son of Vyasadeva, who traveled over the earth, disinterested and satisfied with himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The word Bhagavan is sometimes used in relation with someone of the great devotees of the Lord, like Shukadev Goswami. Such liberated souls are disinterested in the affairs of the material world because they are self-satisfied by the great achievements of this devotional service. As explained before, Shukadev Goswami never accepted any formal spiritual master, nor did he undergo any formal reformatory performances. His father, Vyasadeva, was his natural spiritual master because Shukadev Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam from him. After this, he became completely self-satisfied. Thus, he was not dependent on any formal process. The formal processes are necessary for those who are expected to reach the stage of complete liberation, but Sri Shukadev Goswami was already in the status by the grace of his father. As a young boy, he was expected to be properly dressed, but he went about naked and was uninterested in social customs. He was neglected by the general populace, and inquisitive boys and women surrounded him as if he were a madman. He thus appears on the scene while traveling on the earth of his own accord. It appears that upon the inquiry of Maharaj Parikshit, the great sages were not unanimous in their decision as to what was to be done. For spiritual salvation, there were many prescriptions according to the different modes of different persons. But the ultimate aim of life is to attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service to the Lord. As doctors differ, so also sages differ in their different prescriptions. While such things were going on, the great and powerful son of Vyasadeva appeared on the scene. Om Gyánati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadatara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Candramauli Swami Niti Namine. So again the verse. At that moment, there appeared the powerful son of Vyasadeva who traveled over the earth, disinterested and satisfied with himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. You know, when I read this verse, sometimes I like to do some sort of a little personal meditation, like imagining myself in these certain circumstances, in this situation which the verse describes. And I think we can start with this. Maybe even if you would like to, you can close your eyes and just imagining what's happening here. So imagine yourself to be present with all these sages on the banks of the Ganges. And there is this great personality, Parikshit Maharaj, who is preparing for leaving this material world, his material body. And all the sages gather for this purpose to accompany him. And there are such great personalities like Narada Muni, there is Vyasadeva, there is Parashuram, Vasishta Muni, Vishwamitra Muni, Bhrigu Muni. So there are great personalities. And at some point, one young man appears, completely naked. He's very beautiful. I mean, the next verses will describe how he looked like, but he has nice bodily qualities, and he's surrounded with all these children and women. And you know, if we don't read this from the scriptures, but just seeing someone like this, even this is stated here in the purport that he appeared like a madman. Just imagine like someone who is coming and all these children joyfully jumping around up and down around him, and also there are these women who you know you can imagine a nice man surrounded by women. What would you think? Because I will be completely honest, if this happened to me nowadays somewhere, the first thing which came into my mind wouldn't be that, oh, this is such a great personality, such a great devotee, and he will be the one who will narrate such a great scripture as this Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's already some kind of takeaway that how many times we tend to judge by the looks of someone or something, but here we can go a bit deeper. So we, as you know, well dressed Vaishnavas, sometimes we think that, oh, I know that what is described in the scriptures, how someone should dress up properly, how he or she should behave within the society. And here we see that there is a great personality who seemingly contradicts everything which we read from the scriptures about all these rules and regulations connected to dressing. And we might come to the conclusion that, oh, so either this person is such a bogus person, or the scripture is such a bogus scripture because it contradicts itself. Or we see that, oh, okay, this is such a great personality, so he knows what he does, but if he doesn't put so much effort into properly dressing, then, oh, it might be not so important. So it's not a problem if I also don't follow all these rules and the regulations about my outfits. Or we follow the rules of the scriptures about our dresses, and we think that, oh, I'm such a nice devotee. I'm properly dressed, and here is this person, and just look at him, that I'm so much better than him. Or maybe if this happened nowadays, then maybe I would go and correct, because, oh, Prabhu, this is such an elevated company of sadhus. You cannot come here amongst all these great personalities in nothing. I mean, just naked. So these are all the behaviors which we manifest so often. Here, I just mentioned about dressing, but if we look into ourselves, into our daily lives, in so many aspects it happens. And also another aspect here, that when we hear that a devotee should accept a spiritual master, and we see that here is a great personality who had no former spiritual master. Obviously, it's stated that actually he had a spiritual master because his father taught him this spiritual science, but no official initiation, no all these pious yagyas and samskars. So this is another aspect, but the topic is the same, that that we hear about so many rules and regulations, and here is someone who seemingly doesn't follow anything of these. And I would like to go deeper into this topic. So the first thing which we should examine a little bit, that what is the goal of all these rules and regulations? Actually, these rules and regulations give us some kind of culture. Culture is a value system which we follow, but many times we are unconscious about why do we follow it. But if we are properly cultured, then it helps us to properly behave, in all our actions, not to commit sinful activities, and be respectful, and all these things. So if we are cultured, properly cultured, based on Vaishnava culture, which is actually the only real culture, so then it will protect us. And also, if we follow this culture, it's not just we won't commit sinful activities, but it gives some kind of identity, which is a higher identification than just this bodily platform. So it will, if we, for example, if we all the time dress up in sari or dhoti, then we know why we do it. So we will know that I am dressing up like this because I'm Krishna's servant. And many times when amongst devotees, maybe we don't remember it all the time, why do we do it? But if we go out on the streets and see that all the other people dress up differently, then it reminds us that, okay, why I am like this? why I dressed up like this. So it helps us remember. Also, this promotes this value system. So it's not just there is some kind of reinforcement in my own identification, my own value system, but it helps to promote this to others, to show, because this culture, this is at least on the mode of good platform of the mode of goodness, and even we are striving for transcendence. But if we show it to others, then we can help uplift them to the higher modes. So it's also some kind of preaching. When we go out on the streets in these Vaishnava dresses, then others know what it is, and they indirectly think of Krishna like, oh, here is a Hare Krishna devotee. So this is also very significant. And I would like to, I hope you can see it. I just switch off a little bit this screen sharing. So Devaki Mataji has this book, Spiritual Culture and Krishna's Divine System. That's the subtitle. And I will also read some parts of it, but the reason I'm mentioning now, because she writes about that behind all these cultures, there is some kind of value system. And basically there is the materialist value system and there is the spiritualist value system. And the two totally contradict each other. What is the goal of life? Why? What is our role in this world? And all these questions, these value systems have some certain answers to this. And if we follow the spiritual culture, then it will reinforces in ourselves this spiritual culture, spiritual value system. Otherwise, it will reinforce in us the material value system, the material culture. So it's nice to be conscious about it. So this culture uplifts us at least to the mode of goodness, and if we follow it, we maybe don't even have to consciously think about how to act, how to behave in certain situations, and even then we will follow what is at least on the level of goodness. And this is important because the mode of goodness is which leads us towards the spiritual, towards the transcendental. And sometimes some aspects of this culture, we think that it's evident that we follow these, but if you think about culture, it's very dependent on time and place and the certain circumstances, people. For example, I remember when I went to university, I borrowed a book which contained African tales, and I was very surprised to read in one of these tales that there was some kind of rule, like a cultural rule, that not to eat anyone at night. And I was really thinking about it, but that what it means that eat someone at night. I mean, maybe they can eat people and they can eat daytime, but not at night. Or someone means animals, and it means that they cannot hunt, cannot kill at night, or something like that. But either of them was so strange for me, because obviously I had a different culture. But also I remember that when it was the first years of my Krishna consciousness, once I was in the temple, in our local community temple, and I think it was the month of Kartik, and Sunday afternoon, Sunday feast program, offering ghee lamps to the Lord. And at that time, I didn't really look like a Vaishnava or something, but I remember that I saw someone, one girl, who sat there in her jeans. And the interesting part was that somehow it was too tight, and the back part was a bit lower than it should have been, and some private parts could be seen. And I didn't know, it was weird, embarrassing, how to tell her, or is it my role to tell her? But after some time, I just thought that, okay, it's embarrassing for her also, I should let her know. So I just touched her shoulders slightly and told her that your jeans is a little bit lower than it should. She really seemed frightened, like, oh my God, what happened? And asked me something which really shocked me, that she asked that, oh, someone told that it's not okay. And I was like, no, I mean, I thought it's disturbing for you. And then she said, oh, no, it's not. So I was sitting there, really shocked that here is someone in the temple room, and her so-called culture didn't make her to, she wasn't disturbed at the fact that some private parts can be seen in a temple room. So anyway, so many of us would feel weird, but for some people it's natural that they can be seen. Like there are these beaches where people don't dress up. Anyway, so I don't want to describe it even more. It's just these were some examples that culture is really different for everyone, and it's always based on so many things that we are educated by our family, by our friends, by school, by offices, by social media lately, all the media, television and so many places. So if we are not so conscious where to learn from, then we can absorb all these materialist value systems. And it will affect also our behavior. I remember once I've spoken to one senior Mataji, because I was preparing to speak with young Matajis about how to properly behave with Prabhus. And I was asking some guidance. And this Mataji told me that, actually, all of this starts with how we look. I mean, how we properly dress up or something like that. So many times we focus on already something which is sort of a consequence. So the first thing is that I should dress up in a way that I don't want to attract attention. And then all the other things will come, because it already sets the scene, sets the mood. What will be the relation with the other person. So that's why it's very important for us that following proper culture will help us following proper behavior, proper actions. And sometimes it's let's be honest, sometimes it's not so easy. We come to Krishna consciousness, and in the beginning we just hear that just follow the 4 regulative principles, just chant, and everything will be fine. You will go back to Godhead. And then we believe it and start to practice. And then they say that, okay, get up early, dress up like this, eat like this, and clean yourself like that. And so there comes all the other rules and regulations. And we started, okay, but I didn't sign up for all of this. It started from, I just have to follow the 4 regulative principles and chant. So it can be difficult sometimes, but the idea is that all of these rules and regulations will support our chanting. and support all the other these four regulative principles. Because just as I mentioned, if I follow proper dressing and other rules, then it will affect how I behave with others, how I behave with Prabhus. Because if I don't behave properly with Prabhus, then comes the sex life. If so, one thing leads to the other, and that's why it's important for us that that we should follow these regulations also, because it supports our development in spiritual life. Okay, but if this is so important, the question comes up that why Shukadev Goswami didn't follow this. One thing is here we can read that he was disinterested and satisfied with himself. So it's a high level. It's a high level that someone is satisfied with himself, and because he is on this highest platform, as Krishna said, that we become the victims of the lower modes of nature so easily. But if we take shelter from him, then we can easily cross this ocean of material life. So if someone takes shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, then it won't be a disturbance for him. Still, we see that it's not the general principle that elevated devotees start to act like this. They also follow the principles for quite some reasons. One reason is that why not to follow? Because they don't have such attachments as we have. So for them, it's whatever. If I follow or not follow, I'm not attached to any of these, and both is okay for me. So why not follow? And the other thing is, why follow it? There is a reason for that, because Krishna likes it. These are Krishna's guidelines which he gave. So that's why generally elevated devotees, liberated devotees also follow this system which Krishna gave. And also they set the example for us, because Krishna said that whatever a great personality does, all the others will follow. So all these great personalities, these elevated, liberated devotees, they follow this system because others will try to follow them. So that's also a reason. So this is what we see in general, but okay, why not Shukadev Goswami? Still the question comes. And let's examine the statistics first, because if we check out this moment in all the material life, there are so many living entities, and even there are quite smaller quantity, but there are elevated devotees, and still they follow this system. And if we check out all this Vedic history, there are only a few examples where we can see that someone didn't follow this kind of rule. And generally, we see that all these elevated devotees follow these rules. So this is what we should learn from them. When someone doesn't follow, it means that there is some other kind of message. And here we have to understand what is the message behind it. So we can understand the certain parts of the scriptures through our contaminations, through our contaminated eyes, and then the message, we won't understand the proper message which is there in the scripture. But here we can see that Shukadev Goswami was disinterested and satisfied with himself. So we can see this message here that if someone is disinterested and satisfied with himself, this is the consequence that even if he comes naked with a group of women, I mean, for him, women, but so from the other gender, he is not disturbed at all. So this is one message which we can understand. Also, there is another message here that there are these rules and regulations connected to dressing up and eating and all the other stuff, but these are not the exact goals of Krishna consciousness. The goal of Krishna consciousness is not to be attached to any form of these cultural things, but rise above these. So this is also a message which we can understand. And sometimes it can be tricky, because I've heard some devotees who said that, oh, I'm not attracted at all anymore to the other gender. We are not this body, so we are just spirit souls, so we can behave with each other whatever way we want. But usually it very soon backfires, this mentality, because it actually covers up our real attachments. That there is the attachment and I want to live according to this attachment, and I start to rationalize it. So that's why for us, I mean, most of us are probably practitioner devotees who need these rules. But even if we are uncertain about it, it's much more safer to follow the rules, because it will cause us much less problem. And I thought of also mentioning a few other examples for this topic from the scriptures. So something which we can more relate to, because more likely our own level, is Nalakuvara and Manigriva, the situation which they had. So before meeting Krishna in the forms of the Yamalajuna trees. So originally, Nalakuvara and Manigriva were demigods, sons of Kuvera, and they were very, very proud of their position as demigods and sons of Kuvera. And they were having some party in one lake with some heavenly ladies. And it happened that Narada Muni passed through that area. And these ladies noticed Narada Muni, and they immediately became shy, and oh my God, this great personality is here, and they immediately covered their bodies. But Nalakuvara and Manigriva were so proud that they didn't do it. And this is what resulted Narada Muni's curse, that if they are so ignorant, then they should get into a body of a tree. And in the end, we know that in the Damodar pastime, Krishna liberates them. But this is more likely something which we can relate to, that yeah, it's important to to properly pay attention to our dresses. And there is this general message that sometimes we think that we are above the rules, but no, no, pay attention to these. There is another pastime. I will take it into two parts based on the messages, but for example, there are the four Kumaras. They are the sons of Brahma, and originally Brahma wanted them to populate the universe, because there were his sons, and this was the task, to populate the universe. But the Kumaras thought that, oh, it takes the attention away so much from the spiritual path. We don't really want this. And they decided they would like to have small children's body, and not to go into this grihastha direction. So they usually, we can see them in these spiritual pictures, that they are completely naked, because small children can be. There is not there, this sexual desire is totally not there for them or for the other party, so it's okay for them. Another aspect of Shukadev Goswami's case is that it's also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that there was one situation when Shukadev Goswami left home and his father Vyasadev went after them. And Shukadev Goswami passed a river where there were some ladies taking bath. And because Shukadev Goswami was so pure and didn't give out this mood of making difference between men and women and all this stuff, so there were these young girls and they didn't even cover their bodies because for them it was the same like a children went away, or there are always these trees and animals around when someone is taking a bath in a river, but they don't cover their bodies because there is no this sexual energy there, or how they say, this attraction. But when Vyasadev went there, the same place, they immediately covered their bodies because Vyasadev was a grihasta, and a grihasta has to make a difference between men and women because that's part of his duties. So here we can also see that in Shukadev Goswami's situation, he was totally disinterested, and it showed even in his surroundings. I wouldn't go into such details, but I would like to just shortly mention that in the 10th canto, it's also there when when Krishna stole the dresses of the gopis. And there is also a message there of how we cannot hide anything from Krishna, but I'm not so familiar. These are too confidential for me. I'm not really into these intimate pastimes of Krishna, but just for completeness, I thought of mentioning this, that there we can also see another message from the scriptures. And going back to the Kumaras again, also when the Kumaras went to Vaikuntha and they wanted to meet the Lord, it happened that the doorkeepers, based on that, oh, here are these young children completely naked, and they didn't think that they should allow them into the spiritual world. And we can see here the messages that, okay, this is the result what they got when someone commits offense. So these are a few examples from the scriptures about being naked, but we can see that each and every time there is some certain message what was told to us, and this is not the general principle. These are the exceptions for conveying some certain message. And when we follow this is the other trap, that when we follow these rules and regulations about culture, but someone around us don't follow them, then what happens? We judge others by their looks. And it can happen that we look down on the other person because, oh, I am so much better. I'm so much better. Oh, it's nice. Or we can even start to correct the other person. And many times we lie to ourselves that, oh, I'm doing this for the other person. But let's be honest, it feels so good for the false ego. That, oh, now at last I have so many unearthoughts. I suffer so much with my own mistakes and faulty behavior and bad habits, but now here is someone and at least I am better than him. So it really feels good. and sometimes, so one thing is that we can judge the other person based on their looks, or the other thing is that we think that, okay, he doesn't have to follow that rule, so maybe I also don't have to follow it. But statistics is not something not something which we use in spiritual science. So if we want to follow the others towards hell, then okay, we can join, but we should rise above these mistakes. Even if others commit mistakes, we shouldn't follow them. Visha Prabhu, I see that you raised your hand. Is there something you would like to say? Oh, okay, then I follow. So just for
When you
conclude,
finish, dear mother.
sorry, yes?
He said after
When you finish. Yeah, when you finish.
after the class, he'll speak, Mataji, he said.
Oh, just one topic about some guidelines about dressing, and I will finish then.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay, I continue. So about all these regulations, what we should follow. So one point is that the goal is not to be attracted some certain type of dressing, but to follow what Krishna gave to us in order to please Krishna. That is the guideline, that whatever way I dress up, it's for Krishna, for his pleasure. And Prabhupada gave us the guideline that at least we should dress like a gentleman or a lady for ladies, which means that we are clean, we are simple, it's also chaste. So these are the guidelines which means actually at least we should dress up in the mode of goodness. Also, I heard this point that if we check out in the spiritual world, they dress up really nicely. So it's not like there are totally ascetics around Krishna. So they dress up really nicely in order to please Krishna. But I remember Guru Maharaj in one of his classes said that there was a time when it was a tendency that Matajis dressed up really, really opulently. And the reason behind that, they said that, oh, I am dressing up for Krishna. But, there is also this pastime that when there was Naranarayan Rishi and Indradev was again afraid of being sent from his position as the king of the gods, the demigods. So he sent Cupid and other heavenly ladies to distract Naranarayan Rishi from the meditations, but obviously he, as the incarnation of Krishna, he was above all this, and just from his will he could manifest many beautiful, even more beautiful ladies. So we can see that for Krishna it's not important. He's not willing to how to say. So it's not like he needs us to be beautiful in the sense we think. So usually it's just because we have some kind of rajastic mood. We are passionate and we would like this to rationalize this behavior. So anyway, just as I mentioned, I would like to read some very short parts from Devaki Mataji's book, because she wrote about how dressing looks like in the different modes of nature. And because whatever we do is in these modes or transcendental. So it's nice to know these symptoms. So she wrote that in the mode of ignorance, dirty, torn, neglected. For instance, new jeans that are pre-ripped so they look artificially old. Clothing that doesn't fit properly, pants hanging down to the knees, and when we bend over, the whole backside is showing. Actually, our fashion designers are running out of ideas because everything has already been done. Thus, their ideas become more and more crazy and affected by the mode of ignorance. In the mode of passion, revealing the body and attracting the opposite sex, inviting sense gratification and feeding the fever of lusty desires. Very tight, fitting, and see-through materials used to emphasize the bodily lines and figure. The motto is to show off, I am so special, unique, and extraordinary. Name brands are designed to increase the false ego. In the mode of goodness, decent, neat, and clean, covering the body nicely, such as Laura Ashley fashion, it is not extravagant and doesn't call attention to oneself. Long skirts, buttoned-up blouses, Punjabi suits with baggy pants. For the man, simple and neat attire. We can easily understand that those different kinds of fashions are not only an expression of the person's consciousness wearing them, but also promote that same mode of nature to which it belongs, and thus may influence other people's consciousness around them in a subtle way. Also, somewhere it was mentioned that, for example, when someone wears jeans, we can wear it for maybe weeks even. So, but when we dress up in sari, we won't dress up in the same sari in the next day. So it also affects us in other ways. So for example, cleanliness. So fashion in spiritual culture, any fashion that reminds us of God can be viewed as transcendental fashion. We can observe that every religion and spiritual path has its spiritual fashion, the Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, etc. Looking at the dress of a Christian nun, for example, we can find the same principle as when a sari is worn in a traditional way, not in the modern style of often seen these days. The entire body, including the back and the head, are covered. The universal principle of reducing the male-female attraction is maintained. Interesting to note that in former times, no sincere man of any ancient spiritual path would wear pants and shirt. They wore some kind of loose-fitting robes. Devotional clothes are designed to reduce gross bodily identification and subdue the false ego. If we stick to the framework of the sari and dhoti, which Krishna has given us, and at the same time practice sincerely the process of devotional service, our bodily identification and false ego will gradually be reduced. This is the power of Krishna's culture. By accepting devotional dress, we agree to the structure that he has given us, and will gradually give up the strong hankering to be different and unique. Okay, I could go on, but I think we can stop here. So just a short summary is that there are many guidelines which are there for us in our culture, and these are for our protection from committing sinful activities, for having a basis of nice relationship, nice cultured and respectful relationships with others. It reinforces some kind of identity, and also it promotes this higher culture. So this is why we should follow this spiritual culture which Krishna given us, because he will be pleased by it. Okay, I think we can open up for discussions. Sorry, again, took such a long time.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji, for such a detailed explanation about the Vaishnava etiquette and our culture and how we perceive it. A lot of important points you mentioned. Thank you so much, Mataji. Vishab Prabhu, you want to speak or you want to say something? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for this explanation. a lot how the false ego function. I really like the points, and I think I will read this book afterwards as well. Mataji Devaki really nicely puts this in place. And I have to say that I really did see the same points you were sharing about how our false ego, our false identification, it doesn't change just by saying I'm not this body, but it changes by all the activities we do, which kind of supports that sentence.
Yeah, it's
And this
very
life,
nice thing.
yeah, I see the same thing. I had a similar experience when I was serving the guru, and I was serving our Gurudev, that at one point I started to identify with the role of a servant. Like false ego kind of accepted it, I guess, that day or these 2 days or something. And really amazing thing happened because the service become really joyful. The service become really nourishing because there was no resistance in my subtle consciousness and my, gross activities. It was in line. I'm a servant and I'm serving. And all the conflicts I have in Sankirtan and with other devotees is because I don't think I'm a servant. I think I'm someone special, super cool, and everybody should, praise me or something.
Mm. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, because it can be so subtle. I remember this which you mentioned, that just by saying that I am not this body, I remember that for some time it was so difficult for me to read Srila Prabhupada's books, because I thought that, oh, okay, there are these basic principles, but I already understand them. Let's go to some deeper topic, And once someone said that, okay, but Srila Prabhupada writes these things so many times because this is what we need. And then I started to think that, oh yeah, did I really realize this? And then I started to understand that this is such a long way to realize even this fact that I am not this body, because it's not just understanding it with our brain, with our mind, our intelligence, but if we really act on it. So thank you so much for emphasizing this point. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Mataji, there is a question on chat by Veronica. Mataji. So do you want me to read out, or
can you read it out? My English is somehow not so good in reading.
No problem. Hare Krishna, Mataji and devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Please, Mataji, help me understand. Guru can manifest through different personalities. Is that right? If that is correct, would it be natural that Guru manifests through Sukadeva Goswami or other personalities that can appear sometimes controversial in our immature minds? Thank you for this beautiful class and for helping us to understand better.
I'm not sure if I properly understand the question. I understand that
can Guru can be manifested in these these different type of personalities, like Sukadeva Goswami. So because his appearance is different, right? He's a by seeing him we can't say that he's a guru. But so how can we understand or this particular nature?
Yeah, so I remember once I've heard amazing class from Chiti Shakti Mataji. Actually, it was this guru seminar which she gave here, and she spoke about the Guru Tattva. And then I remember at that time I became conscious about it, that okay, the connection between Guru Tattva and Guru, that Guru Tattva manifests through different personalities and things, and that is Krishna's energy, and so Guru can come from the inside through the from super soul or from the outside. I also remember that I've heard that whoever, for example, sits on the Vyasasana and then he's qualified to. We should hear from him like the Guru is speaking. And yeah, so there are so many things, so many persons around us where we can hear message from our Guru. But the main point here is that what is the message? If we really get the real message, because yeah, there are these controversial personalities like Shukadev Goswami, but just thinking about how many verses are about his appearance and how many verses about his message. I mean, there are 12 cantos continuously full of what he said to us, what his teachings were. And there are 2 or 3 verses about how he looked like. So the main point is what he taught to us, and this is what we should understand what is his teaching to us. So as I mentioned, yeah, he looked like this, but it also has a message for us. And this is how we can understand things properly, that always looking for what is the real message from the scriptures, what is the real message from the saints. Because our problem is when we try to understand the message through these material lenses. And then we will see something different, not what is the reality, what is the real message. And that's why it's so important that if we have some doubts that, oh, this seems controversial, how should I understand it? Then to clarify it, because there are senior devotees, there are spiritual masters. Also, so many times, if it's there in our hearts that I would like to clarify this topic, it's happened to me so many times that after some time, within days or weeks or sometimes maybe months, but I just came to read something which clarified this doubt in me. Oh, this is why it is. And this is, for example, how Guru Tattva can manifest in our lives, that we get the clarifications by desiring it to be clarified. But if the mentality is like, oh, there is some controversy, and maybe this is not even true, this whole thing, or this was just written by some common persons, and this is not even sacred, all these scriptures and all this message, then it will cause a problem. But there is the material approach and the humble spiritual approach. So if we have this mood that there is something which I don't understand, which seems to be contradictory, then seek out in some way to understand it. And if there is this strong desire that, okay, I don't understand something, but because this spiritual message is pure and true, but I don't understand it, then Krishna will surely help us to clarify these things. And the nice thing is that this is how we can use doubts to have more and more knowledge. So this is how we can develop by doubts. So doubt is not a problem in itself. It's a nice opportunity if we properly use it, just like a knife. It can be dangerous, but if we properly use it, then it supports our spiritual life. So I'm not sure if this answers your question. Please let me know. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the nice question.
Thank you, Mataji. Amritaram Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you again for the wonderful lecture, Mataji. So there's a term here, satisfied within ourselves for Sukdev Goswami. So I want to understand it more better. What does it mean when we say satisfied within ourselves?
Well, according to my understanding, satisfied with himself, this was the exact phrase. It means that we don't want to get satisfaction from anything material outside of us. Obviously, satisfied with himself, only with ourselves, we cannot be satisfied, because we cannot be satisfied without Krishna. Because this is our original position, that that we are his servants, and only this service can satisfy us. But in this regards, that that when we are not dependent on any material way of satisfying ourselves, also which I said that we are only satisfied with Krishna's service. It's sort of the same, because we used to say that bhakti, devotional service, is not dependent on anything material. So it means that that we are satisfied without anything material, and just by connecting to the spiritual, to Krishna, to be in our original position, as because this is our primary swarupa, that we are servants of God. And when we realize this in itself satisfies us. So in this regards, that himself, because if he realized his original position, it gives satisfaction that he is Krishna's servant. Did it clarify or
Yeah,
not?
just one thing I was thinking, that when Sukdev Goswami, when he it is said that when he was born, he just went away because he was self-realized right from the birth. So at that point, I think he was Brahman realized, but that point, he did not have the knowledge of what Vyasadeva wanted to give him, right? So Vyasadev's theory is we are the servant of the God, not it doesn't comes in the Brahman realization, right? So even
Brahman realization is different, yeah.
Yeah, so even then, before getting this knowledge, he was still self-satisfied.
Well, this part is already when he arrived to Parikshit Maharaj. So this satisfied with himself, it refers to this state when it's not Brahman realization. In Brahman realization, I suppose it's not possible to be self-satisfied, because
No, but there's an incident, right, with the females.
Yeah.
That did not matter him, because he was self-satisfied. The females weren't even conscious when he passed by. And that time also it didn't matter him.
Yeah. Oh, you mean that that past time happened when he was Brahman realized?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, okay. I understand your point.
Yeah.
Well, I can share. I have that verse, which I think it's best. Let's read it together, if we have time, and it's not long. made some notes from it. I will share it one moment. So this is it. While Sri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Sri Vyasadeva himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them, made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions. Well, it doesn't seem to speak about being satisfied or not. It's just about this distinction between male and female.
Yeah, because he was self-satisfied, that differentiation didn't come to him, right? He didn't bothered about that thing because he wasn't conscious about his bodily, gross body, even the subtle body, I guess.
Well, you know, as I understand that making no distinction between male and female, it doesn't mean that someone is self-satisfied. I don't say that he wasn't, because maybe he was also here. It's just here the point that distinction between male and female, it's a different point, because it's possible that we don't make distinction between certain things and we are still not self-satisfied. But I'm not really sure. Sorry, I don't want to speak something which I don't properly understand.
Okay. Thank you. No problem, because I feel there is more to this, so that is why I just asked the question. Yeah. Thank you. No problem. I'll try to inquire. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, it's always nice to get some more questions to think about. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Hare Krishna.
Devotees, any questions or comments?
I think there is another one in the chat from Bhakti.
That is by, yeah, it's Bani Mataji. She has a comment. I'll read it for you. Okay. Thinking someone to be lower person than themselves is deceiving. One might see a negative quality on that person, but any sane person knows that we don't know that person's limitations, and also that we may have some much worse quality. Like they might appear very dirty person on the street, but they might be a far deeper thinker with more compassion and generosity. For example, many well-to-do people are asked for 50 cents on the street and won't give even if they can spare, thinking, this person will certainly waste it. And a beggar who asks another beggar for money will so often share. I see it many times in the cities. We can't assume someone is worse than us to feel good, because that is illusion and arrogance.
Yeah, thank you so much for the comment. Yeah, this is really true, really true. But it's so many times it comes in so subtle ways. I just share one thing, which yeah. So once I participated in a sangha of devotees, where the goal was that to make these teachings more practical, and if we speak about practical problems in our life, it will help us. So the idea was that one devotee shares her problem, and the others start to give some ideas how they would solve the problem. And yes, so it happened to me that I shared something, and others started to give comments. And first of all, to be in this position that I'm giving advice, I'm getting advices, it really felt really bad for my false ego. But I remember then, later on, one of my friends, also my close friends, was also commenting. And I just shared with her that for me, what a difficult situation it was. And for me, it was quite painful. And she said that it was interesting because she experienced that how nice it feels that, okay, I can give advices now. So it's also tricky because sometimes we give advices with the best intentions, and the other person even asks for it. And still, it's so nice that, oh, I have so many difficulties, but now at last with all good intention, I can share my wisdom with others. And so many times we don't even notice. I saw one interesting video in this regards. It was a TED talk, not a Vaishnav source, but I think it was really valuable. That so many times when someone asks advice from us, we don't even properly listen to the other person, but have some nice ideas, which really sounds nice in our heads. But also the speaker said that don't have any illusion about that the other person won't listen to your advices even more than you listened to his problem in the first place. So this video was about how beneficial it is to listen to the other person, and just suppressing the false ego, whatever the false ego tries to say, all these big good advices, but just without any pride, how valuable I am and my advices are. Just listen to the other person to let him or her give out all these emotions which troubles him. So even in these subtle situations, when it's about good intention and trying to help the other, so subtle ways the false ego can manifest. So it's a tricky and a long way to get rid of it.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, even I was thinking about like how easily we can give advices to others, and how we feel like for a small second also, or like little moment also, we feel that we are better than others, and we'll be in a position to advise others in some way. But yeah, that tendency is very difficult to get rid of. I feel like that requires a lot of humility to understand we are no good than others. So we have to learn so many things that still we try to give advice to others. So yeah, it's a very wonderful class, Mataji. Thank you so much for bringing out so many different angles. And thank you, devotees, for participating. So if there are any more questions or comments. Yeah, thank you. I think there are no more questions, Mataji. Thank you so much once again for such a wonderful class. Thank you, devotees, for coming online. We'll see you all tomorrow. Actually, from tomorrow, Thursday to Sunday, there is a retreat here in USA where Guru Maharaj is attending. From their live stream, we are trying to get the live stream link from there, where Guru Maharaj will give classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, and even I think Nectar of Instruction too. So I'll try to share the links. If there is no link, and if it's not possible to share the live stream, then we'll be having our regular daily class. So anything is there, I'll just communicate in the WhatsApp group. So devotees, please check the messages and join accordingly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for today's class. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Radha Vinodini Mataji. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. That was lovely class.